On January 31, 2025, a significant legal development unfolded when John Harold Rogers, a 63-year-old former senior advisor for the Federal Reserve Board of Governors, was indicted on charges of economic espionage. The indictment, unsealed in a federal court in Washington, D.C., alleges that Rogers conspired with Chinese intelligence officers to steal sensitive trade secrets from the Federal Reserve, aiming to benefit the People's Republic of China (PRC). Background and indictment details. Rogers, who served at the Federal Reserve from 2010 until 2021, is accused of misusing his position to disseminate confidential economic information to individuals who posed as graduate students at a Chinese university but were actually affiliated with Chinese intelligence. The information he allegedly provided included critical economic data sets, briefing materials intended for Federal Reserve governors, and insights into the Federal Open Market Committee (FOMC) deliberations, particularly regarding interest rate changes. This kind of insider information could potentially allow China to manipulate U.S. financial markets, as it holds approximately $816 billion in U.S. foreign debt. The timeline of Rogers' alleged activities suggests that he began his espionage efforts in 2018. Reports indicate that he met with his co-conspirators in hotel rooms in China under the pretense of teaching classes where he communicated sensitive information. Notably, in 2023, he received about $450,000 for part-time teaching at a Chinese university, indicating a strong financial connection to Chinese entities. In addition to the charges of economic espionage, Rogers faces allegations of making false statements to the Federal Reserve's Office of Inspector General (OIG), which obstructed their investigation into his actions. This aspect of the case underscores a calculated betrayal of trust, as his actions could provide significant economic advantages to China at the expense of U.S. interests. Charges and potential consequences. Rogers has been charged with conspiracy to commit economic espionage and making false statements. If convicted, he faces a maximum penalty of 15 years in prison for the espionage charge. The indictment emphasizes the serious implications of his actions, highlighting how the information shared could affect U.S. financial markets and national security. The U.S. Department of Justice (DOJ) officials, including Devin DeBacker, head of the National Security Division, have expressed the seriousness of the charges. They emphasized the importance of safeguarding sensitive information and the commitment to holding accountable those who exploit positions of trust for personal gain or to benefit foreign entities. Methodology and tactics. Rogers' methodology involved circumventing Federal Reserve policies by using personal email accounts and printing confidential documents before traveling to China. This deliberate effort to conceal his activities illustrates a premeditated approach to his espionage. The indictment specifically mentions that he passed sensitive information electronically or in hard copy to his Chinese co-conspirators. Federal response and broader implications. The case has drawn substantial attention from various government agencies, including the FBI and the DOJ, as it underscores ongoing threats posed by economic espionage, particularly from state actors like China. Officials have emphasized that the Chinese Communist Party has intensified its efforts to target U.S. government financial policies and trade secrets, aiming to undermine the U.S. economy and elevate China's position as a global superpower. The indictment serves as a stark reminder of the vulnerabilities within the U.S. economic and governmental structures, particularly in the context of an increasingly competitive international landscape. It also raises broader concerns about the security of sensitive information and the integrity of individuals in positions of power within key institutions. Conclusion. The indictment of John Harold Rogers marks a significant event in the ongoing battle against economic espionage, particularly in relation to U.S.-China relations. As the case progresses through the legal system, it will likely bring to light further details about the nature of espionage tactics employed and the extent of foreign interference in U.S. economic affairs. The government's commitment to addressing such threats is clear, as they continue to prioritize national security and the protection of sensitive information. The indictment of John Harold Rogers, a former senior advisor for the Federal Reserve on charges of economic espionage, presents various counterintuitive aspects that challenge common perceptions about governmental trust, the nature of espionage, and the implications of economic relationships between nations. 1. Trust in public service. The case highlights a significant breach of trust, as Rogers was in a position of considerable responsibility within a key institution for U.S. economic policy. While it is generally assumed that individuals in such roles are committed to national interests, this scenario reveals that even those at the highest levels can betray their duties for personal gain. This goes against the intuition that government employees are inherently trustworthy. 2. Espionage in academic contexts. Rogers operated under the guise of being an educator while allegedly engaging in espionage. This raises questions about the intersection of academia and intelligence, where teaching roles can be a cover for illicit activities. The expectation that academic pursuits are purely about knowledge dissemination contrasts sharply with the reality of espionage activities occurring within educational frameworks. 3. Economic manipulation versus traditional espionage. The nature of the information that Rogers shared, trade secrets and economic data, demonstrates that economic espionage can have implications similar to traditional espionage but in a financial context. This challenges the conventional view that espionage is primarily about military or political intelligence, instead highlighting the growing importance of economic data in national security. For Chinese intelligence operations, the indictment details that Rogers' co-conspirators presented themselves as graduate students, showcasing how intelligence operations can be sophisticated and deceptive. This challenges the notion that espionage agents are easily identifiable or operate overtly. It illustrates that intelligence efforts can blend seamlessly into normal societal structures, making it difficult to discern genuine academic pursuits from covert operations. 5. Economic interdependence and security risks. The fact that China holds a significant amount of U.S. debt, $816 billion, complicates the narrative regarding economic relations and national security. While economic ties are often viewed as a stabilizing factor in international relations, Rogers' actions exemplify how these ties can also create vulnerabilities. The expectation that economic interdependence fosters collaboration is juxtaposed against the reality that it can lead to exploitation and espionage. 6. Concealment tactics. Rogers' alleged use of personal emails and printed documents to share confidential information indicates a level of cunning that is not typically associated with individuals in high-security roles. This behavior contradicts the assumption that individuals in these positions are unaware of or unable to circumvent security protocols, suggesting a deliberate and calculated approach to espionage. 7. Government response to espionage. The strong language from U.S. officials regarding the indictment reflects a heightened sensitivity to economic espionage, suggesting that it is now viewed as a critical threat. This contrasts with historical perspectives where economic espionage might have been downplayed in favor of more traditional security concerns. The shift in focus indicates evolving priorities in national security. 8. Impact of individual actions on international relations. Rogers' individual actions, while seemingly isolated, are portrayed as part of a broader strategy by the Chinese Communist Party to undermine U.S. economic stability. This highlights a counterintuitive reality where the actions of a single individual can have far-reaching implications for international relations, challenging the belief that individual misconduct is inconsequential on the global stage. 9. Legal and investigative frameworks. The indictment reveals complexities in the legal frameworks surrounding economic espionage and the investigative processes involved. The fact that Rogers allegedly lied to investigators complicates the narrative about transparency and accountability within governmental institutions, suggesting that individuals may feel emboldened to engage in deceit even under scrutiny. These counterintuitive aspects underscore the nuanced and often contradictory nature of economic espionage, trust in public service, and the implications of global economic interdependence. The case serves as a stark reminder that vulnerabilities exist even in the most trusted institutions and that the intersection of education, intelligence, and economic policy requires vigilant oversight and robust security measures. The indictment of John Harold Rogers, a former senior advisor for the Federal Reserve, on charges of economic espionage is a significant event that raises serious national security concerns. While much of the coverage discusses the basic facts of the case, several important aspects are likely to be overlooked by many readers, yet they hold substantial implications for broader issues related to economic security, intelligence activities, and international relations. Here are some of those critical points and their significance. 1. Long-term espionage activities. Rogers' alleged espionage activities reportedly began in 2018 and continued until his indictment in 2025. The duration of this conspiracy highlights the potential for ongoing vulnerabilities within high-level government positions. This raises questions about the effectiveness of current security protocols and how information is safeguarded within sensitive government roles. The ability of a single individual to exploit their position over several years emphasizes the need for robust oversight and continuous evaluation of security measures at institutions like the Federal Reserve. 2. Nature of information shared. The indictment specifies that Rogers shared sensitive economic data, including briefing materials and insights into Federal Open Market Committee (FOMC) deliberations. This type of information is crucial for understanding U.S. financial policy and can significantly impact market behaviors. The ability of foreign entities, particularly adversaries like China, to gain access to such information could allow them to manipulate not just their own economic strategies but also those of the U.S., potentially leading to destabilization of markets. This situation illustrates the intersection of economic and national security and underscores the importance of safeguarding economic intelligence in an era where financial data can be weaponized. 3. Manipulating U.S. markets. The potential for the information Rogers allegedly provided to enable China to manipulate U.S. markets akin to insider trading is particularly concerning. The implications of such manipulation could extend beyond mere financial loss. It could lead to a loss of confidence in the U.S. financial system and trigger broader economic repercussions. This point is often glossed over in discussions, yet it highlights how economic espionage can have far-reaching consequences not just for the government, but for everyday Americans and the global economy as a whole. 4. Personal gain versus national interest. Rogers reportedly received substantial payments for his role as a part-time professor at a Chinese university, suggesting that financial motivation may have played a role in his actions. This raises ethical questions about the influence of foreign financial incentives on U.S. officials and the potential for conflicts of interest. The narrative of betrayal is compounded when personal financial gain is juxtaposed against national interests, further emphasizing the need for strict regulations regarding foreign engagements for individuals in sensitive positions. 5. Impact on U.S.-China relations. The context of this indictment comes amid rising tensions between the U.S. and China. Rogers' actions could exacerbate the already strained relations and may impact diplomatic negotiations. Economic espionage, particularly involving high-profile individuals, can result in retaliatory measures from the U.S. government, influencing trade policy, sanctions, and other diplomatic actions. This backdrop is significant as it reflects how individual actions can have implications for international diplomacy and relations. 6. False statements and accountability. The charges against Rogers for making false statements to investigators highlight the challenges of accountability in cases of espionage. Misleading authorities can obstruct investigations and prolong the security risks posed by such espionage. This point often receives insufficient attention, yet it is crucial for reinforcing the importance of transparency and honesty in governmental roles. It also reflects on the broader issue of how individuals in positions of trust can violate that trust without immediate repercussions, emphasizing the need for effective mechanisms to hold individuals accountable. 7. Use of technology in espionage. The indictment notes that Rogers used personal email accounts and printed documents to share sensitive information. Circumventing Federal Reserve policies. This detail underscores the role of technology in modern espionage and how individuals can exploit digital tools to conduct illicit activities. As technology continues to evolve, so too do the methods of espionage, necessitating ongoing adaptations in security protocols to protect sensitive information from being accessed or misused. 8. Wider implications for national security. The case serves as a stark reminder of the broader implications of economic espionage, which extends beyond individual actions to encompass systemic vulnerabilities within government agencies. It raises alarms about the security of sensitive information and the potential for adversaries to exploit gaps in defenses. The implications of such espionage touch on various aspects of national security, economic stability, and the integrity of governmental institutions. 9. Public awareness and education. Finally, this case highlights the need for public awareness regarding economic espionage and its potential impact on national security. Greater understanding and vigilance can help citizens recognize the importance of safeguarding sensitive information and the potential consequences of espionage. This educational aspect is often overlooked in media discussions but is essential for fostering a culture of security and responsibility among government officials and the public alike. In conclusion, the indictment of John Harold Rogers on charges of economic espionage is not merely a legal issue but a multifaceted event that raises significant concerns about national security, the integrity of economic intelligence, and the ethical responsibilities of individuals in government service. The implications extend beyond the immediate case, highlighting systemic vulnerabilities and the need for vigilance against the threats posed by economic espionage in an increasingly interconnected world. Understanding these overlooked aspects is vital for comprehending the broader narrative of national security in the context of economic relations between the U.S. and China. 1. Nature of charges. John Harold Rogers faces serious accusations of conspiracy to commit economic espionage and making false statements to federal authorities with potential prison time of up to 15 years. This highlights the significant legal ramifications associated with breaches of trust within critical government institutions, particularly in the context of national security. 2. Scope of espionage. The indictment details the sensitive economic information Rogers allegedly shared, which could have substantial implications for U.S. financial markets. By providing China with advanced knowledge about U.S. economic policy in Federal Open Market Committee deliberations, he may have enabled manipulation of the market akin to insider trading, emphasizing the need for stringent safeguards around sensitive governmental data. 3. Methodology. Rogers' approach to disseminating sensitive information, which included using personal emails and circumventing Federal Reserve policies, illustrates a calculated effort to evade detection. His meetings in hotel rooms under the guise of teaching further reflect the lengths to which he went to conceal his activities, raising questions about internal controls within the Federal Reserve. 4. A government response. The swift and serious response from multiple government agencies, including the FBI and the Justice Department, underscores the U.S. government's commitment to countering economic espionage. The case serves as a stark warning to others who might consider similar betrayals of trust, reinforcing the importance of protecting national security interests against foreign adversaries. 1. Robert Hanssen. 2001. A former FBI agent, Robert Hanssen, was arrested in 2001 for spying for Russia. He had been passing classified information to the Russian government for over 20 years, compromising U.S. intelligence operations and endangering lives. Hanssen's espionage activities included providing details about U.S. nuclear capabilities and the identities of American spies in Russia. He was indicted on multiple counts of espionage and was ultimately sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. 2. Kirk Allen Wiebe. 2000. Kirk Wiebe, a former National Security Agency (NSA) employee, was indicted for espionage after he allegedly attempted to sell classified documents to foreign entities. Weeb, along with two others, was accused of conspiring to disclose sensitive national defense information which included details on U.S. intelligence gathering operations. The case highlighted vulnerabilities within U.S. intelligence agencies and raised concerns about insider threats. 3. Daniel Hale, 2021, a former intelligence analyst for the U.S. Air Force. Daniel Hale was indicted for leaking classified documents related to drone warfare and the U.S. military's targeted killings program. Hale was accused of providing information to a journalist which was later published in a book. The leaked documents contained operational details and ethical concerns surrounding drone strikes, prompting debates about transparency and the morality of military operations. Hale faced charges under the Espionage Act and was ultimately sentenced to prison. The indictment of John Harold Rogers, a former senior advisor for the Federal Reserve, on charges of economic espionage represents a critical juncture in U.S.-China relations and raises significant concerns regarding security protocols in sensitive governmental institutions. As we look to the future, several predictions can be made regarding the implications of this case and the broader geopolitical landscape. 1. Increased scrutiny on federal employees. Following the indictment, it is expected that there will be a heightened scrutiny of current and former Federal Reserve employees regarding their ties to foreign entities. This could involve stricter vetting processes, enhanced security training, and the implementation of more robust monitoring systems to prevent unauthorized information sharing. Institutions may also adopt stricter policies regarding outside employment, especially in foreign settings. 2. Strengthen legal framework against economic espionage. The case may prompt legislative action aimed at strengthening laws against economic espionage. There could be a push for more severe penalties for those found guilty of sharing sensitive information, particularly in cases involving foreign adversaries. The case against Rogers could serve as a precedent that encourages more comprehensive legal definitions and frameworks surrounding economic espionage. 3. Impacts on U.S.-China economic relations. The indictment is likely to exacerbate tensions between the U.S. and China, with existing trade disputes and geopolitical friction. This case may lead to increased tariffs and restrictions on Chinese investments in the U.S. Furthermore, it may provoke retaliatory measures from China, potentially leading to a tit-for-tat escalation that could impact global markets. 4. Focus on counterintelligence efforts. Expect a renewed focus on counterintelligence efforts within U.S. government agencies. The FBI and other agencies may ramp up resources dedicated to identifying and mitigating insider threats. Public awareness campaigns could also emerge to educate employees about the risks associated with foreign influence and the importance of safeguarding sensitive information. 5. Broader implications for higher education and research collaboration. Rogers' alleged activities, including his role as a part-time professor in China, could lead to a re-evaluation of academic collaborations between U.S. institutions and foreign universities, particularly those in China. Universities may tighten regulations regarding faculty exchanges, research funding, and international collaborations to mitigate risks associated with espionage. 6. Changes in investment strategies. With China holding a significant amount of U.S. foreign debt, the potential for market manipulation through insider knowledge could lead to changes in investment strategies. Investors may become more cautious, leading to increased volatility in U.S. financial markets as they react to geopolitical developments and concerns over economic espionage. 7. Technological safeguards and cybersecurity enhancements. As espionage tactics evolve, there is likely to be an emphasis on enhancing technological safeguards and cybersecurity measures within government agencies and financial institutions. Investments in advanced encryption technologies, secure communication channels, and artificial intelligence-driven monitoring systems may increase in response to the growing threat of economic espionage. 8. Increased international cooperation on espionage issues. The U.S. may seek to strengthen alliances with other nations facing similar threats from economic espionage, particularly among Western allies. Collaborative efforts could focus on sharing intelligence best practices and strategies for countering foreign espionage activities, leading to a more unified approach to safeguarding sensitive information. 9. Public perception and trust in institutions. This case could influence public perception of the Federal Reserve and other governmental institutions. Trust may erode if citizens feel that their sensitive economic information is not adequately protected. In response, the Federal Reserve might engage in transparency efforts to reassure the public about the integrity of its operations and the measures taken to prevent espionage. 10. Continued monitoring of economic espionage trends. Finally, the case against Rogers will likely lead to ongoing analysis and monitoring of economic espionage trends. Researchers and policymakers may strive to understand the evolving tactics employed by foreign entities, leading to more adaptive strategies aimed at countering such threats. In conclusion, the indictment of John Harold Rogers serves as a critical reminder of the vulnerabilities present within governmental institutions and the ongoing threats posed by economic espionage. The ensuing developments will shape the future of U.S.-China relations, influence domestic security policies, and impact various sectors including finance, academia, and national security. As these dynamics unfold, the emphasis on safeguarding sensitive information will become increasingly paramount.